Joe Wood.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. So I'm going to have a very serious talk. No fun, no laughing. It's going to be very serious. And I'm going to talk to you about vasovagal syncope. And I've given it a nice red background because that represents my horrible fear, which is blood. So that's the only bit. So the trigger warning now, no one's going to faint in this, I'll just tell you now. So we're going to talk about vasovagal syncope, and here we are. What the hell am I talking about? So vaso, that part of the word is anything to do with your blood vessels. Vagal is anything to do with the vagus nerve. Syn is from the Greek where things are together, like synthesis. And cope is from the Greek coptain, which is where you cut things apart. So vasovagal syncope is that you are cutting apart your blood vessels from your brain using the vagus nerve. And for most of us, that actually means I'm talking about fainting. So it's very close to my heart because I am an absolutely terrible fainter. And I love this vasovagal syncope because that's absolutely typical. This is what the medical profession do. You know, you go and you say, oh, doctor, I've got a red nose. And they say, oh, it's a case of rubus proboscis. And you know, oh, so that's what they've done with fainting. So I'm going to talk about fainting. And there are four main types of fainting. There's this vasovagal syncope. There is a postural faint, which is to do with, I mean, your whole body is kind of like a central heating plumbing system. So you've got your pump is in your heart, and then you've got to pump all the blood up to your head, and then it will fall by gravity down to your feet. And then you have got to pump it. Have you ever thought, how the hell does it get from my feet back to my heart? And it's pumped up by your calves. So if you are forced to stand still for 3 hours and not be allowed to use your calves, for example, being on parade, you can faint because all your blood just pulls down in your legs. So that is a postural faint. Then there is the emotional fainting. This is again mediated by that vagus nerve. This is my speciality, just so you know. And then the final one is this carotid sinus fainting. So in your neck, your two carotid arteries come up from your heart and they run through your neck, and in your neck they make little tiny swellings called your carotid sinuses. And if you push on the carotid sinus, you can actually stimulate this vagus nerve again. It will slow your heart down, and you can slow your heart down enough to make yourself faint. So that's the old Victorian stiff collars, or you know, if I was to shove 2 fingers in there now and massage away, I might manage to make myself fall unconscious. And the vagus nerve, I was going to talk about it, but I've just realised it's like really boring. It's the 10th cranial nerve, comes out of your head. It's got the vagus, vagrant, vagabond. It's called the wandering nerve. It's got the longest route in your body. So you can see it runs all the way from your head right down to your guts at the bottom. So let's just quickly, so we've still got to do a little bit of science, but then we'll be over that quite soon. So you've got running in the background of your body, you've got these sort of autopilot programs, thank God, that take care of a whole load of stuff that we don't want to think about, like breathing or weeing or, I don't know, blinking. You know, imagine if you had to do all that stuff on purpose and think about it. It would be impossible, wouldn't it? So you've got something called your autonomic nervous system, which does these things for you in the background. And it's got 2 main branches. So there's this sympathetic nervous system, and that deals with fight or flight. And that's using a chemical called noradrenaline. I can see you're really enjoying this. It's a great start to the new year, isn't it? So that's run by noradrenaline. So a tiger has just entered the town now. So this is your sympathetic nervous system. My God, tiger's just entered. So your eyes, your pupils will enlarge. Your heart will increase its rate. You're going to run, aren't you? Your blood vessels will all constrict because when the tiger sinks its fangs into your thigh, you do not want to exsanguinate. Your lungs will increase their oxygen, and your digestive tract will slow down. You know, there's no point in digesting tins chocolate because you've just got to run, get the hell out of there. So that is the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight. And then there is this parasympathetic nervous system also running in the background the whole time. They call this the rest and digest side of your body. It's run by a different chemical called acetylcholine. this is the one that I have some issues with. I have a bit of difficulty with my parasympathetic nervous system. And the vagus nerve that we were talking about, it's got 75% of your body's parasympathetic nerves run down that vagus nerve. So everything that the vagus does, these vasovagal syncopes, faints, I'm going to have those because that is my issue. And when you've got the parasympathetic nervous system in action, it does the complete opposite of what the sympathetic one does. So pupils will constrict, your heart slows, all your blood vessels dilate and all your blood pools down in your body. And with me, my blood, I see a lot of blood seems to pool somewhere around here. So I always feel like terribly like, ugh, just before I'm about to faint. And your bowels have increased motility and your sphincters relax. It's maybe important. So, I know. Now, it did make me think about the animal kingdom when I was doing this. I thought, I wonder if like giraffes faint. They ought to, shouldn't they? Because their head is absolutely miles away from the pump. But apparently they have a lot of ways of fixing that for themselves. Horses faint, but really it's pretty much only humans are the only other ones that do it. But there's fight or flight, and then there is a third autonomic response, which is freeze. And I'm also a terrible freezer. I think these things go together. So I don't run or stand. I am just immobilised. I just freeze. It's one of my responses. And the animal kingdom does do this, and it's called thanatosis. There it is in Greek. Look, thanatos. It's there, isn't it? And it's death simulation, or the kind of more modern way of talking about this is tonic immobility. And the whole animal kingdom does it. Right from insects all the way up to humans, we have tonic immobility. So the one we'll all know about is this, playing possum. So that possum, look, so he has got tonic immobility. He's not in a faint, because when you've got tonic immobility, your brain is actually working overtime, but the body is completely frozen. And we think the reason that the animal kingdom does this is there are some advantages to you if a prey is after you. So it's a prey response. If a big tiger's just come and bitten you, you can find that you do this tonic immobility and you might just get away. There's something on YouTube, you'll see a lion bite something and then a hyena comes up, and while the lion and the hyena are fighting over this gazelle, it gets up and runs away because it was doing its tonic immobility. And I just like the pictures. Look, little frog having tonic immobility, and a kingfisher as well. And people who are scientifically illiterate, they used to think this was animal hypnotism. People really believe that they're hypnotising a chicken. You can just lay a chicken on the ground, and if you draw a white line out from its beak, it'll just lay there in tonic immobility until you rub the line out. So it's just a response. So let's just, last bit of science. So there's I'm going back to my kind of fainting, which is very, very embarrassing for me, because I'm like a wuss. I don't want to faint. But it has a very powerful genetic element. It runs in families, and in my family, you can just see my bloody father gave it to me. So there's fainting with Dad, fainting me, fainting my brother, and I have 5 children, and 2 of my children have unfortunately inherited this from me. And they found out where it is. It will be multi-genetic and lots of epigenetic effects as well, but they think it's on chromosome 2, and they found some allele, there it is, who cares, ZNF something or another. And someone with 2 fainting parents, thank God I only got Dad, someone with 2 fainting parents is 8 times more likely to faint than someone who's got none. And your first episode is usually around puberty, and that would be me. So my first faint took me absolutely by surprise, because I've never done one, and then bam, I'm 15 and I do my first faint. So, what shall we say? Why is that? Oh, we just took that one out, didn't we, Tim? Oh, I don't want these to come up one at a time. So I thought, well, how many times have I fainted then? So I just wrote this down, and I can't tell you, that is page 1 of about 6, and I did it in 10 seconds. I just thought, yeah, there's that one. So, you don't have to bother, they mean something to me, but it's so easy for me to go back and recall all these faints. And I thought, I need to talk to them. What I really want to talk to you about is like my funniest faints. And I thought, which one should I choose? And in the olden days, when you got divorced, which I have done, you had to prove fault. It was, who had unreasonable behaviour. And it's so awful. You're supposed to tell somebody, all the terrible behaviour you've done to one another. And I remember saying to my solicitor, oh, God, I don't want to do it. What should I do? He said, do the first, the worst, and the last. So I thought that might be what I would do with my faints, but I have taken a little bit of poetic licence with it. So I've been speaking so fast because I wanted to get through all that kind of scientific crap and get on to the fun bit. So let's just have a look. So this is one of the faints. I'm going to give you this as my first, although it wasn't. I was probably in my early 20s with this one. So this is me fainting at the mid-diastolic rumble of mitral stenosis. So when you've got trouble with your mitral heart valves, instead of just going lub-dub, 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 they go lub-dub, lub-dub. That is the mid-diastolic rumble of mitral stenosis. Would you like to hear it? Oh. Lub-dub, 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 lub-dub. Terrifying, isn't it? I mean, who feels like they might faint? So here's the story. So I'm a student, I'm being taught to listen to the mid-diastolic rumble of mitral stenosis, and there's maybe 10 of us in a line, and there's a lady in bed. And what you've got to do is go up and put your stethoscope on her chest and have a listen to see if you can hear this. So I'm about number 6 in the line, and I've seen that 5 other people go up. And I go up and I put my stethoscope on her chest, and I don't hear the mid-diastolic rumble of mitral stenosis because I couldn't, it was too hard. In those days I heard lub-dub, lub-dub. I'm trying to listen, and then I looked in her eyes. And this is me and my emotional fainting. Because what I thought I saw, I mean, who knows what I saw, but what I thought I saw was I thought I'd seen a lady, she'd come in, she obviously something was, she must have had some kind of symptom. And now she's like on a teaching ward round. All these people are listening to her heart. And I just got the feeling as I looked at her that she was beginning to understand that there was something probably quite seriously wrong with her. And she was beginning to sort of feel anxious and upset. So to reassure her that there was nothing to worry about, I promptly fainted completely across her body. I mean, I had no idea it was going to happen. I just looked at her and thought, oh my God, she's feeling so terrible, and I was just gone. So people, in the olden days, people make excuses for you when you're a fainter. Oh, wasn't it hot? Oh, you probably didn't have your breakfast. Oh, your blood sugar's dropped, maybe you're pregnant, all that stuff. So everybody let me off. But it was true, it was just a wuss faint from catching her emotions. And I mean, it's only if she was here I could tell you if those emotions were true or not. Maybe I made them up. And then here's the next one. So this one. So here we are, Alfie. Do you remember Alfie? Yeah. So I think, let's have many years that we fast forwarded. We probably fast forwarded about 4 years. I'm in my early 20s. I've just moved into a new house with my boyfriend at the time. And we've been invited by the new next door neighbours to go next door and have a drink. It was a joint actually, but I feel like I should say it was a drink. So we've been invited to go next door and take some refreshment next door. And so we're in the house, and it was early 80s, so I'm wearing a cheesecloth skirt. I've got a Laura Ashley white blouse with big Legoland sleeves. Oh my God, I've done it again, nothing's changed. And so we go next door, and they put the telly on, and Alfie comes on the telly. Now, I have seen Alfie before at this stage, and I've survived it. I've had no problems with it. But this time, for reasons unknown to me, Alfie's on the telly, and I think, oh my God, I think there is an abortion scene in this film. And I thought, I think they might show you something horrible, like something in a bucket or something. So I start freaking myself out at these new next door neighbours. And so I say, if you don't mind, I'm just going to pop next door and get something. When I've had like a full unconscious faint, I become a very unreliable narrator because I don't actually know what has happened because I've gone, haven't I, unconscious. So that's what I thought happened, that I said, could you just excuse me, I'm just going to nip next door and, I don't know, have a cup of tea or something. But I needed to get a grip on myself. And my boyfriend didn't tell me for 2 years. what had actually happened. And I think he told me when we were having a bit of a fight, rather than when he was feeling very sweet and tender to me. I said, what actually happened that day? Oh, because I'd forgotten to say that as it was only next door and I was in my own home, I wasn't wearing any underwear. You rest at home, don't you? Rest and relax at home. So he tells me. So this comes on, apparently I stand up, I'm white as a sheet. I say, I then fall to my knees and begin to crawl across the living room floor. Now that's going to make your cheesecloth skirt right up. I said, I didn't tell me that that they didn't see anything visible. Actually, did fix. Because I woke up, when I became conscious, I was just in their hall with the front door with them wafting some fresh air over me. And they must have pulled my cheesecloth skirt back into a decent position. I said, oh my God, that's just, oh God, thank God we don't live there anymore. I never have to see them again. He said, well, that wasn't the worst thing. Because you remember me saying how your sphincters relax? So apparently while I was on their living room floor with my arse in the air, I didn't know what's so that's probably the worst. First the worst. And now I've just got 1 minute to tell you the last. So what is this? This is a little child with machine gun. So here we are. I want you to fast forward 20 years. So I've got much better at controlling my faints. I've learned a lot of tricks. Because they're emotional, I just got to control my emotions, and if I feel I'm going to start to go, I've got to think differently, I've got to get out of the situation. I've also learned lots of physical tricks to stop it from happening. So here we are, 20 years later. I'm at home, I'm cooking the kids' tea, I'm chopping up an onion, and I do a really big slice into my own finger. And I know immediately it's going to be a really bad one. So I just wrap it up really tightly in a plaster. I think, I'm not even going to look at that because that was bad. Carry on, finish, do their tea. We were going out to the Churchill Theatre to go and see a play. So get everybody ready for the Churchill Theatre. 40 minutes have passed. I'm in my nice outfit. I'm in a nice trouser suit to go out even with my doctor husband. And my finger, the tip of my finger's gone white because I put the plaster on so tight. So I think I need to loosen that plaster. So I loosened the plaster, and I wasn't expecting it. This was the problem. I loosened the plaster, and a big whole load of red liquid, I can't mention, bubbles up out of my finger, and it takes me by surprise. So I've been caught by this. I wasn't expecting it. So I know what you do. So you stick your finger up in the air, so to try and, plumbing, try and stop that from happening. But I'm on my way to go. So I got my finger up in the air, I think, oh my God, I'm going to faint. So I put my head down. It's not working. I always feel this horrible sort of uncomfortable full feeling in my stomach. So I think, I've got to take my trousers off. I've got my finger in there, so I take my trousers off. I sit down on the sofa, I put my head between my knees. It's no good. I'm still on my way, so I think I'm going to have to lie on the floor and put my legs up on the sofa. So I'm lying on the floor, I've got my finger in the air, blood spurting out, I've got my legs up on the sofa. My 15-year-old daughter walks in. And she has her first faint to prove that she has inherited the gene. So she comes into the room, she immediately goes white and falls on the floor. I can't help her because I'm absolutely hovering on the edge of a faint myself. So I'm there like this. She's probably sparked out on the floor. In come my 3 sons, and they see their mother and their sister white and lying on the floor. They think it's hysterical. They go and get their machine guns. Remember, I've got no trousers on. And they start machine guns. So that's going on. And at this moment, my husband is a very serious doctor, and no wonder I'm no longer married to him. He came into the house because he wanted to just wander in and take us all to the Churchill Theatre. Like, what is going on? Obvious what's going on. He actually said that to me when I was having a baby. What are you doing? So yes, so we did actually manage to get through that one, wrap up the finger again. I've overrun my time. So there you are, a fainter. I haven't had a faint for quite a long time because I've learned a lot of techniques. But those of you, if any of you have got that gene like me, we are not wusses. It is a curse, and you can overcome it. Thank you for your time.